What do women want in a man? A man who doesn't smoke, a man who doesn't drink, a man who doesn't womanize. And if we're dreaming, let's add one more thing. A man who's rich. Sounds ideal, doesn't it? But what if I told you that one man embodied all these qualities and more, and yet his marriage still fell apart? Kaka, Brazilian football legend, Ballon d'Or winner, devout Christian, family man, and at one point, the poster child for perfection. He was rich, handsome, famous, and faithful. In fact, he was so devoted to his faith that during the 2007 Champions League final, after helping AC Milan win the title, he dropped to his knees and revealed a t-shirt with the words, "I belong to Jesus." For Kaka, this wasn't just a gesture, it was a statement of his entire life's philosophy. But perfection, as we've learned, comes with its own burden, and Kaka had to learn this the hard way. Before the world knew his name, Kaka's life was far from perfect. His beginnings weren't really from a poverty-stricken background like most famous people, though. But at the age of 14, he suffered from a hereditary skeletal condition that delayed his physical development. While his peers were growing into their athletic frames, Kaka lagged behind, looking more like a child than a football prodigy. Then came the accident that changed everything. At 18, while playing in a pool with his brother, Kaka went headfirst down a slide and struck his neck on the bottom. The impact was devastating, a fractured vertebra that could have left him paralyzed for life. Miraculously, he not only recovered, but returned to the pitch just 2 months later. Kaka credits this moment as the foundation of his unwavering faith in God. From that point forward, he saw his life and career as a gift from above, one that he would honor in every way possible, both on and off the field. He carried this devotion into every aspect of his life, including his marriage. In 2005, Kaka married Caroline Selico, a pastor at their church. He was 23, she was just 18, although they had met and dated at school in Sao Paulo a couple of years earlier. Their relationship was built on shared faith and what seemed like an unshakable foundation. Kaka even made headlines for openly declaring he was a virgin before marriage, a choice he attributed to his religious beliefs. For a time, their love story seemed like a fairy tale. Even the way Kaka proposed, taking Caroline to a romantic gondola ride in Venice, where he created a memorable moment on a terrace overlooking the sea, was like a dream. In Kaka's own words, he created a scene that was impossible for her to say no. Before then, they were doing a long-distance thing, and Caroline only visited the AC Milan star in Italy every 2 months. So you'd think their relationship would stand every test of time. Throughout their marriage, they lived in luxury, had 2 beautiful children, and Caroline even joined Kaka in his public displays of faith, releasing a Christian music album that featured a duet with him. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. In 2015, after a decade of marriage, Caroline asked for a divorce. Her words, "I'm not happy, and I attribute my unhappiness to marriage." Some 9 years later, she explained further, "Kaka never betrayed me. He treated me well. He gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was he was too perfect for me. Too perfect." The irony was hard to miss. A man who embodied everything society tells us a husband should be, faithful, loving, successful, was being left behind because, in her words, he was too perfect. This came as a shock to the entire global community, many sympathizing with Kaka that he deserved better. Surely he did, but so did Caroline too. Let me explain why. To understand why their marriage crumbled, we need to look deeper. Caroline was only 18 when they got married. She went from being a teenager to kind of a pastor's wife and a mother in a whirlwind. While Kaka thrived in his structured, faith-driven life, Caroline began to feel trapped by the very perfection she had once admired. Their differences became glaring. Kaka's deep-rooted faith in God guided every decision he made. The 2007 Ballon d'Or winner once even admitted in an interview that he did everything possible to avoid a divorce because of his faith. That's to say, he was at one point doing all that he did in his marriage, not for love, not for his family, nor for his happiness, but to feel good about himself, as far as he felt he was following the teachings of the Bible. How suffocating that must have been. And Caroline, who had begun to drift in a different direction, felt the effects of all that. She wanted something more, something beyond the life they had built together, something that wasn't founded on the decisions of a naive 18-year-old girl. And divorce was for her only solution. For Kaka, the divorce was devastating. As a devout Christian, he struggled to reconcile his beliefs with the reality of his marriage ending. He later admitted, "I stayed single for a year, trying to assimilate the situation and dealing with it as a Christian, talking to the pastors, because the Bible tells you not to get divorced, and I was there, getting divorced. But no amount of prayer or counseling could save their relationship. Their once enviable bond could only stand strong as far as December 2015. After the divorce, both Kaka and Caroline have since moved on, but in very different ways. Kaka found love again with Brazilian model Carolina Dias, with whom he now has a daughter. From Caroline to Carolina, Kaka is so faithful that even his new wife's pic feels like a tribute to his ex-wife. Caroline, on the other hand, has since remarried a longtime boyfriend in 2021 and is expecting another child.